This video is a lot later than I've wanted it to air. The moment of recording were the last 2 days of March, so hopefully when you see this video it is the start of April. And these are the books that I read during the month of February, so let's talk about them. So hi and welcome back, my fellow fantasy book lovers. It's been a while since I spoke to you and I'm so grateful to be back. I hope to be making weekly videos again. And of course, for those of you who are new here, hi and welcome. My name is Kathy and I'm a fantasy book lover from Belgium. For today's video, I want to talk about the 3 books that I read during the month of February. February was supposed to be my romantasy month. The book that we had for the February book club was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. So if you want the full in-depth information about Quicksilver and me ranting and rambling about the book, including water rations, there is the full live stream that you can rewatch. I do want to let you know that in the live stream there's a lot of spoilers about the book because we really talk about the book as a whole, going a little bit piece by piece how everything goes, and it's really fun doing these book clubs with you. So if you're interested in joining, the one for April is going to be vampire themed. The book we're reading together is Anno Dracula, and the new live stream will be on April 18th. But now let's get into the actual books that I read. I am pretty sure that I started my month with A Language of Dragons. This is a dragon-based fantasy book that hasn't been out for long, and fun fact, this is not my copy. This is my partner's copy. I actually bought it for him as a present because I know he loves dragons, and he actually listened to the audiobook of this because he doesn't read as much as I do. He listens to books whenever he's like going to work and stuff. And he really enjoyed it. So he was like, oh, you need to read it so we can talk about it. So I, of course, read this book. Now, our main character is the daughter of a family of people who have been researching dragons beforehand. Especially her mother is like an important dragon researcher, but they originally come from another country, so they came into London. And there is like rebellion, resistance type situations going on. The dragons are part of this world building, as in they are active members of society, or they used to be more involved, but nowadays it's more like just like, I see the dragons in this book more as a military force mainly than anything else. Now there's of course different types of dragons, different races of dragons, and I really loved exploring that part of the book more. Now at the beginning of the book, a few things happen that I'm not going to spoil because it will like change the alteration of the book. But our main character is taken away, is taken into this military environment where she has to decipher dragon language. So the language that dragons speak within them. And it's with like, it kind of reminded me of radar or sonar technology, the device that they use. But basically she is one of the best dragon tongue translators that there is, and together with a few other ones she has to like decipher the codes that dragons use. That part I loved. The military and war setting going on in the book I liked a little bit less. So this is a first book in what is going to be a series. At this moment I don't know when the next book will come out, but that's fine. If I know it or if I find it, I will put it here on screen so you can at least know it while I talk about it. But I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually secondhand buying one of the pretty spray painted editions because this is definitely a book that I want to keep on my shelves and recommend to other people. So whenever I do dragon-based videos, this one will for sure be in it. And I'm not sure if I gave it a 3 or 4 stars. I really liked the world building, the setup. I didn't like the war. War is something very delicate to me, especially with the current situation of the world. I don't like war. So yeah, the first book that I read in February or finished in February was A Language of Dragons. Up next, we had Quicksilver. This was the book for the book club in February. So if you want the full details about it, go and watch the video of the book club because we go very much in depth into this book. We have a world building, and our female main character at the start of the book, she steals something. She steals a piece of metal, and there is a ranking system, as it is a lot in towns and villages and cities in books, I feel. So you have upper class, middle class, lowest class. She is basically the lowest class. And I felt like she's desperate enough to steal things, to do whatever it takes to keep her and her brother alive. So she doesn't have her mother and her father anymore. She is an apprentice, or she's helping out at a glassmaker's forge. So she has some sort of life, but it's not at all a good life. It's really like you are the poorest of the poor. Now, for stealing that piece of metal, it's actually a golden glove worn by one of the royal guards. She is, of course, sentenced. So she is found out, she is put into jail. And while undergoing her sentence, like being killed basically, something happens. And that is when we get into this Fae realm. I'm not going to talk too much about everything that happens there. I really enjoyed this book. This was a 4-star, maybe even 5-star read. Thinking back on it, I really did enjoy this book, and I cannot wait what they do with it in the future. It is a little bit of a darker book, but it has very light moments, and yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. If you haven't read Quicksilver yet, and you want to be in on one of the newer fantasy trilogies or like series that is coming out, I would start reading it now. It is a bigger book, but I finished it in less than a week, I think. It didn't take me all that long to finish it, and I really think the pacing of the book was good. There is quite a bit of world building, especially at the start of the switch, is what I'm gonna call it, which I hope they do more with in the next books, because now it felt like, okay, but why are we getting this information? The ending was a bit abrupt. There is vampires. I love vampires, so for me that was a big plus. I did not see it coming at all that there would be vampires in this book. So yeah, I cannot recommend this enough. It is at the same level as Fourth Wing Iron Flame, definitely not book 3 of the series. But yeah, if you're into Fae and you want a badass main character, a grumpy... No, it's grumpy and grumpy, basically. She's a bit grumpy, he's a bit grumpy, like love interest, this is for you. And honestly, comparing it to Akotar would be wrong, because Akotar, the female main character, is like weak and she needs to learn her place. Comparing it to Throne of Glass, she's not exactly a trained fighter as Aveline is, so it's different. But I can see how it would be a little bit in the similar vibes. If you like Throne of Glass, then I think you will like this as well. And then finally, a fantasy romance that is actually a fantasy romance. This was supposed to be Romance Month. It didn't really end up being Romance Month, but that's fine. And this book is Trial of Frost by Aveline Rivers. I was kindly sent this book as an ARC, so I got it digitally, and the author was kind enough to also send me the physical copy, which I am super grateful for, because I had a little bit of issues with my e-reader at the moment that I was reading this, so I was able to physically continue reading it. And I must say that even though this was not exactly the romantic setup that I personally loved, this was a very fun book to read. It is written in a first-person perspective, and our female main character that we follow through most of the book is a magical user. She has magic in her, and her father is actually a trained mage who at first is teaching her, but he has come like to his limits. He cannot teach her more because she already knows everything. So she is being sent to another mage to be like an apprentice there. Now our main character has frost magic, so there's different types of elemental magic in this world building, and every elemental type of magic has a sort of trial that they can go through to get more access to their powers. So for her, it's the trial by frost, and that is the quest that they set up to do in this book. Now, this book has really good world building. There is fae, there are orcs, there are other creatures. The magic system is really well thought out, and I really enjoyed it. However, I did not like the master-apprentice love interest. That's my only negative, even if it's not really a negative because other people might love it, about this book. Now there is a secondary character who gets taken away, is the best way to describe it without giving you too much information. And she also ends up having a love interest. at the end of the book, and I would love if there was at least like in the next books more parts of them, or even an entire side story of those two other characters, because I felt totally invested in those two. I'm not gonna go into details because it happens towards the middle/ending of the book. So I could highly recommend this book if you want a fantasy romance that is set in an epic world building with magic mainly as the focus, and also like the master-apprentice like relationship trope, then I think this is perfect for you. I personally gave it a 3 stars because I cared more about the other two characters than specifically the two main characters, and especially their romance line. Like, it's not for me, but that's purely because I like a different type of romance line in books. So that's not on the author or on the book at all. And especially if Trial by Frost sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would check it out. This is a new and upcoming indie author, so she can really use the support, and I honestly think that the next books in this series will be on fire. So these were the 3 books that I've read during the month of February. March is almost to an end, and I've currently finished 3 books as well. So I hope to be making that video somewhere in the first weeks of April so I can talk about those books to you. As mentioned at the start of this video, April is going to be Vampire Month. It's my birthday month. I love vampires, so every year during April I read mainly vampire-themed books. And that also means that the April 18th live stream of the book club is a vampire-themed book, and this time it's going to be Anno Dracula. So if you have read the book, or if you plan to read the book, or if you just want to live chat to me during the book club, you can of course join me in that live stream. I would love to have you there. And of course I put all of the live streams up on my channel so you can rewatch it. So even if you read the book on a later date, you can always go back and get my thoughts on the book as well. Feel free to let me know in the comments down below which books have you read recently that you either loved or hated. I would love to know. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'm aiming to make weekly videos again and would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading. Bye!